Hi, I made a graph and I wanted to make a video just to talk about this graph and just talk about the COVID pandemic for a little while. So basically in this graph, I decided to put the largest countries in the world. That would be China, India, United States. So China has a population of, say, 1.42 billion. India, a population of 1.35 billion. And the United States, say, about 330 million. So, yeah, so China, and India, those are, countries with very large populations, I mean, compared to the United States, maybe about, both of them about, more than 4 times the population of the United States. But I wanted to kind of, have this graph to kind of, give like a kind of, really, the idea is really kind of like a big picture, I mean, I think in some of my other videos, I kind of talked about this idea of Gestalt. So where it's sort of like I'm really trying to look at the big picture. And I was looking on the internet for like some kind of a picture like this or some kind of a graph like this, and I really couldn't find it. So I just decided to make it by hand. I just kind of looked at the numbers, on like just worldometers, whatever. I guess they provide numbers that giving you what supposedly what the numbers are of cases, and this graph is basically showing you the cases. So let me just get a little closer here, and let me tell you that. Okay, so like basically, I made the red color with China. The red color is indicating the cases of China. The green color is indicating the cases of India, and the black one I used the black color for the United States. So basically I have I tried to make up like, basically to try to show, all the cases all together on one graph. And there's a big difference between China and the other countries, especially the United States, so you have, like basically I just, if is this scale here, I guess I just went up. I went like by millions, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, etc. I just went all the way up. Went all the way up to basically what? 18 million. Yeah, I guess that's and basically I went up to that because that's basically where the United States. I mean, it's not. I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny at all. But like, look, 17 million, we're about like 17 million cases, so, now mind you that, the COVID-19 started in China. So basically looking down here, this is where it started, basically, like say, like maybe, I think it was like the end of December, beginning of January. So it kind of started, there were a few cases, and it kind of like went up, like within like about a month, and it kind of went up to about like maybe about 80,000. And then whatever, they took measures supposedly in China and pretty much got it like completely contained, really completely contained, So I mean, it just, I think maybe, it just looked, look at here, it just looks like kind of like a straight line, but it's just basically, I'm kind of showing you how it just really kind of leveled out. Maybe it went up to about 80, and at one point it popped up to around 80,000. And I guess maybe maybe by the end of the year, about around now, it's maybe about 85, maybe 90. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but yeah, I mean, if you look at the others, now if you look at like say India, well, India, like, I mean, it started out slow, but then it kind of like started going up. And like now, I guess around the current time, it's about, right now we're kind of like, the date is sometime, I think it's, we're in December now, or like, maybe it's like December 17th, I believe. Yeah. So we're, they're about like 10 million, which is a lot. It's a lot. And then the United States, well, look what happened there. Look at that. That's the black graph. It went all the way up, up, went up. I mean, there were certain points where it was kind of like, kind of spiking a lot faster, but then kind of maybe slowed down a bit, but then started spiking again. And yeah, we're all the way up there, 17 million. And then back down. China, they really got it contained. Yeah, they really got it contained, and United States got hit hard, as well as certain other countries too. Got hit very hard with this thing, with this pandemic. So yeah, that's the story with this. So anyway, looking at that graph, basically, you could sort of see that it was, it was very well contained in China, which it's somewhat, it's very interesting because that's where it started. It started in China, and but then they were able to, really kind of get it under control, and in about a month or so, and then kind of it really wasn't much of a problem there, but and for the rest of the world, it's a completely different story. I mean, especially the United States, really, I mean, look at a lot of other countries as well, but with China, no, they handled it well. And maybe some other, I know some other Asian countries I've heard of, and maybe some other countries contained it. But look, I look at this, worldometers.info. I guess they provide information on the cases and whatnot. And I sit down and I look at these graphs, and I can see that for most of the countries, it's basically, if you look at a lot of the graphs, it's growing and growing and growing. But the one graph that kind of stands out that I look at, and it's really the China graph, that it really just kind of really totally levels out. And I haven't looked at every country, but yeah, look, that's basically the situation. I think about like really like how does this virus spread? Well, as far as I understand it spreads from person to person. So how would it get out? If it was in one location, if it was in one geographic area, how would it get out to other geographic areas? Well, it's going from human being to human being, and what how do human beings get outside? It's via travel, right? So we have methods of travel. So what are the so you have airplanes, cars, trains, buses, boats, whatever. So that's how things get around. So yeah, you might, and you would actually think, like, within a country that you would probably have a lot more domestic travel than international travel. So you might have thought that with all the different modes of transportation that are available, that it might have been able to spread around in the place where it started. But that wasn't the case. It wound up going out internationally. So I would think that it basically got onto planes and stuff, and it basically landed in certain places, and then it just, started, people got in contact with one another, and it spread around, look. And again, like, I'm just kind of looking at, I'm looking at like the data that's presented, and I'm sort of following the narrative that's presented from the news, so I'm just trying to go along with that. Now, so you have China, and yeah, look, like China is a country. Look, they've been growing a lot. They're becoming like a big economic power now. United States is still a big economy, a big power in the world, but I would say that, I mean, not that I would say it's, but I've heard, like, I guess some, experts that look into these matters have indicated that the United States is showing a little bit of a decline in recent times, and China has been China has been growing, as a country. And then we have the issue of masks, so we have the people. So look, there are certain people that they don't agree with the idea of wearing the masks. I guess people are entitled to their opinions. We have freedom, whatever, people have these things. But then, look, from what I'm seeing in the society around me, I see, like, most of the stores and businesses, they're having, like, restrictions, and asking people to wear masks, and a lot of people are sort of going along with that. It's a CDC recommendation or requirement. I guess it's more like a recommendation. The idea of wearing the masks. So yeah, look, that's just what the answer, that's the sort of the solution that we've been given for how to deal with the virus. Like the wearing the masks and social distancing, and I guess cleaning your hands and all that kind of stuff. Try to not spread viruses. Now, as it turns out, I happened to I was actually in Asia at one point, and it was interesting because I was actually there. Strangely, I was there kind of like right before the pandemic came about. So I was able to I kind of observed some things in Asia, and actually what I did notice is that at the time, people would actually wear masks. I was in China for a short time, but I had spent more of my time in South Korea. So more like when I was in South Korea, I was actually really kind of seeing a lot of people in their day-to-day life, and so I would go on the subway, and I would see people wearing masks on the subway. Now it wasn't like everybody. It was, I guess I would estimate maybe 10% of the people wearing it. And then I tried to find out, and one answer I got was that people were just wearing it for their own protection, whatever, from germs, diseases, whatever. And then, but more, I think, and I guess I looked it up on when I was there, I just kind of tried to look it up on the internet, on my phone, and the answer there was that they do it to protect other people, that if you have like a cold or something, you don't want to spread it to other people, and I think that was just kind of that was sort of a part of, that's just kind of like a part of Asian culture, is like this kind of, a feeling of belonging to community. So I guess you want to show consideration for the people in your community, so that's just, like sort of an aspect of Asian culture. I mean, you probably would have some aspects of that in Western or American culture, but I guess more in American culture, there's a little bit more of a spirit of individualism, which is cool. Look, there are different cultures, different people, different ideas, different ways of life, and I respect it all. Now, going back to China, I had seen at one point, I saw an article or something, and I think they said that I believe in August they were able to, because I guess they had sort of like the mask wearing restrictions. I guess it's similar to what they have around the different countries that are dealing with the pandemic, and I believe in August they really kind of eased the restrictions because I guess because like the virus really got contained in China, so I guess they could ease the restrictions, and they wouldn't have to wear the masks. Although, look, again, probably some people might just wear the masks anyway voluntarily, but maybe it may not be as widespread. So anyway, and then the next thing is that I've been hearing a lot about in the news is the idea of the introduction of vaccines. So that's like a whole other issue, you know, and it's, look, there's debate about it, you know. I mean, and I would imagine that, you know, because, you know, a lot of people in these countries that are dealing with this pandemic, they're uncomfortable, they're being hurt, they're, you know, look, I guess for one thing, you know, look, people are supposedly getting sick, you know, or you know, people saying they are. I mean, look, I've heard the testimonials of people who say that they got very sick, you know, and look, you could, you know, receive it any way you want, you know, and then I look, I've also known of people who basically they just got tested, and maybe they had mild symptoms, and they were told that they had it. So be it. But you know, whatever. I mean, that's just what I've heard, what I've sort of encountered. Now, you know. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, but anyway, going back to the vaccines. So yeah, there's this kind of technology for this medical technology for these vaccines, which I really don't understand. But you know, look, I mean, I think there are people that are kind of eager to take it because I guess they're tired of living under these conditions, and yeah, it's caught, you know, it causes people a lot of fear about getting the disease, and of course all of the economic impact, you know, like, you know, businesses having to, you know, shut down, and you know, all of these different, you know, I mean, look, it's really, it's been like a massive problem, you know. It's really like, you know, people are afraid of the virus, but then if you shut everything down, then you know, the businesses can't survive, you know, people can't work, people can't make money, and you need money to survive. So it's really like kind of like a double-edged sword, you know. So I don't, you know, and I know, look, I understand that people are, you know, argue about this constantly, and it becomes somewhat political to some extent. And look, I just, you know, I'm just observing the whole thing, and I would like to find a solution to it. But anyway, and then the other thing with the vaccine is that yeah, we, you know, like there's the possibility of the side effects, you know, so we don't really know what will happen with that. But then if you look at, say, you know, a country like China, where they really kind of got it under control, they really supposedly contained it, then maybe the issue of taking a vaccine isn't even they may not even necessarily have to take it, because it's really kind of like, you know, sort of under control, you know. Anyway, so that's look, I talked a little bit about these things with the pandemic and things. Yeah, other than that, you know, yeah, you know, look at, you know, in the United States, and I think kind of around the world, you have like you know, this sort of political stuff is, you know, people are like really so divided about, you know, different things, you know, and many times, you know, I hear about the kind of like the issue of conspiracies, you know, like, and you know, and you know, as far as conspiracies go, I think conspiracies exist, you know. I mean some of them, and it really doesn't matter, like, you know, where you are politically. There have been some conspiracies that have been, you know, officially, you know, that have come out, you know, that have been declared, that they say, yeah, this thing happened and it was a conspiracy. So look, people make, you know, allegations of conspiracy, and then people want to, like, you know, put all the people that talk about conspiracies, they want to put them all in the same boat and say that they're all like these kind of like crazy people or whatever. But look, you know, the thing is that there can be conspiracies, and some of them can be true, and some of them may not be true. And when I think about conspiracies, to some extent, I think of it is kind of like a crime, you know. So it's sort of like, you know, and And if you're a criminal, you want to be a successful criminal. I mean, you want to have some intelligence. So if you have a crime or something that you want to commit, and you'd have to plan it out, and you'd have to do it in a way so that you wouldn't get caught, so that you'd have to conceal all the evidence, and you'd have to, like, have it so that there would be no witnesses, and you would have to, really plan it out very well. So yeah, so yeah, I mean, a lot of people, some people say there's a conspiracy or whatnot, and then the people on the other side say, well, you have to show me evidence, show me proof, whatever. But if it was like a criminal doing this action, and they did it so well that they covered everything up, then you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't be able to get the evidence. You wouldn't be able to prove anything. So and you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, supposedly. So, but yeah, look, there's a lot of stuff that, like sometimes things just they don't seem to add up. They don't seem to be right. So, but it just kind of smells suspicious. And yeah, I mean, it is, it's just something that I think about. It's the stuff that's there, and I think about it. Look, I want justice. If there are crimes, I don't want there to be crimes. I want things to go well. I want it to be a fair world. I want people to be happy. I want to solve these problems. But yeah, it's difficult. It's challenging. Anyway, I've said a few things, and I will talk to you next time.